Scroll of Record, Kolbrin Bible, Book 4, Sons of Fire, Chapter 7 through 14. My belief is they have different perspectives of a time of troubles, starting with invasion, migration, journey to a land of mist, arbor of sorrow, separation, Hezekiah returns, struggles, and a new day. I will be leaving the verses as is, but moving some around to highlight where I think it shows crossovers of the same events, but from different perspectives. No commentary. I'll leave it up to the individual to decide if it makes sense. SOF 726. On the third day, as the sun prepared to enter into his night kingdom, Hezekiah stirred. He groaned in anguish from his wounds, and Athaliah comforted him, and he slept in peace. When it became light next day, he awoke and felt Athaliah's touch upon him. And Hezekiah knew her and said, "Athaliah, are you here? How came you to this place and found me in my hour of need?" SOF 727. But Athaliah answered not because of her tongue, and she drew a veil around her face, for she knew not that Hezekiah was blind. She wept, and her tears fell upon his face, and he held on to her, for her hands told him that she could not speak to him, as once she did. And he said, "I am blind and cannot see." But she drew not the veil, for she feared for him when his hand sought to be his eyes. SOF 728. Days passed, and Hezekiah grew strong, and he knew the tale of his brother's deeds, and swore vengeance in the name of his God. He said, "For this purpose life has been left to me." And Athaliah grieved that he spoke thus, for he could not walk without her. SOF 729. The waters of the valley were cool, and there were herbs and wild fruits and goats upon the mountainside. So it came to pass that after many days Hezekiah was whole and strong again, but he remained blind, so he could not see Athaliah, and therefore she remained fair in his eyes. But the soft speech was gone from her. This Hezekiah did not mind, for what he heard daily was the speech which greeted him as he lay in her arms. Before she knew, he had come back to life. Hezekiah and Athaliah were no longer troubled by the voices among the rocks, for no harm was done to them in this place. SOF 730. When Hezekiah became strong again, he desired to go from that place and fretted to be gone. But Athaliah bade him stay. She said, "You are blind and therefore like a child. And will we not die of hunger in the wilderness, or be slain by men who seek after you? Let us stay here." And Hezekiah listened to her words, for it was not unpleasant in this place. SOF 731. And it came to pass that one day, as Athaliah gathered herbs in the valley, she espied a stranger drinking at the waters, and he was weak and weary from much journeying. And she took Hezekiah, and together they went up to the stranger. And Hezekiah greeted him, saying, "May the peace of God be with you, master. How may we serve you?" The stranger answered them, saying, "I am Locus, son of the fire bird, and physician to the king of Tyre. I have traveled from afar to this place, that I may hear the wisdom of the dead. I came to talk with my soul in solitude, for I am weary of the ways of men. I no longer seek to be the companion of those in high places, who concern themselves overmuch with wars and the affairs of men." And Hezekiah knew Lucas for a magician of great renown. SOF 732. Hezekiah dwelt in a cave in the mountainside by the waters of a spring, which came forth from a smaller cave nearby. The land before the cave was flat, and there were ancient gardens and enclosures. Beyond these were trees. When Locus had been brought to the abode of Hezekiah, to the place where he camped, he was given food and rested. Then Hezekiah said unto him, "You are great even among great magicians, for your magic is greater even than the magic of Egypt. I beg you, master, look with pity upon my blindness, for it makes me even as a child. I, who am a man among men, and have a man's task before me, pray, therefore, cast magic with fire, that I may be made whole again." Locus said unto Hezekiah, "Is this then the one desire of your heart? Is there not in heaven or earth you desire more? Hezekiah said, There is not above this. SOF 733. Then Lachius spoke to Athaliah, saying, What is your desire? Is it that you may be as you once were? And Athaliah said, This indeed I desire, especially for the sake of my Lord. But master, above all, I desire that he may see again. But, oh, let not his eyes lead him from me to destruction. Lachius said to Athaliah, You know what his eyes will see? She answered him, Let his eyes see what they will, but let them see. Lachius said unto her, So it shall be, for you have but one desire between you. I will make a covenant with Hezekiah, so that his eyes may see again. This is the covenant, that Hezekiah will stay in this place until Athaliah has borne him a son, and until 6 months after his son's weaning he will sit at my feet and absorb my instruction. SOF 734. Then Athaliah said unto Lachius, Master, when he is no longer blind and sees me as I am, will not the burden of the covenant be too great for him? Lachius answered, He has more than 2 eyes. SOF 735. Lachius took Hezekiah and cast a spell upon him, so that he fell asleep. And Lachius opened his head and lit out the evil which blinded him, and encased his head in clay, that the demon might not resume its residence. And Hezekiah was left asleep for 6 days and 6 nights. SOF 736. On the 7th day Hezekiah awoke, and behold, he was no longer blind. And he called for Athaliah, but she came not unto him. Then Hezekiah cried, I see, but the woman is not here. Is this not a time for rejoicing? But lo, she stays away. Lachius said unto him, It is the manner of woman, let her be. And when night had come, Athaliah came and sat at the feet of Hezekiah, and said unto him, It is well, my lord, and my heart rejoices. And Hezekiah, stretching out his hand, caught hold of Athaliah, saying unto Lachius, Long have I been with this woman, and I was blind, that I could not see her face. Now, I say, bring me my torch, quickly, that I may look upon the face I desire to see with all of my heart. SOF 737. And Athaliah, bowing her head, remained cold and still beside Hezekiah, the veil held before her face. And Lachius, placing the torch aside, drew the veil and lifted her head towards the light, and the woman looked up fearfully. SOF 738. Hezekiah looked long upon her in silence. Then he lifted her towards him and kissed her face, saying, Wife of my bosom, the years have taken nothing from the loveliness of your youth. And Athaliah fell before him in a swoon. SOF 739. Now when morning came, Lachius sat outside the cave, and Athaliah came, and kneeling before him said, Great master, what magic have you wrought? The waters do not lie, yet my lord sees me not as they. And Lachius answered her, saying, Nor does the soul lie. But the eyes of men are deceivers, and not to be trusted. One desire only have I granted, for my magic has not touched you. Hezekiah sees indeed, but if he sees not wholly with his eyes, and in part with his heart, seeing not with the eyes of other men, then perhaps my magic is imperfect, and I am not the greatest of magicians. SOF 740. Unnumbered days passed, and Athaliah was first delivered of a daughter, then of a son. And Hezekiah sat before Lachius, and received his instruction, and many books were opened unto him. He learned the mysteries of the secret way, and the songs of the fire. He knew the wisdom that had come down through the ages. SOF 741. So it came to pass that one day Hezekiah went unto Lachius, and said, All has been done that the covenant required. And Lachius answered him, saying, It is well, prepare now to follow the path of your destiny. SOF 742. Then Hezekiah took Athaliah and his son and his daughter, and with Lachius they passed out into the wilderness. And when they came to the habitations of men, Athaliah was veiled, and Lachius journeyed as a great magician, following his stars, and Hezekiah served him as though his slave. SOF 743. Thus they came to the lands held by Isaias, And Lacuse made masks of animal skins with tree gum and clay, and gave them unto Hezekiah and Athaliah. And he clothed them in strange garments, and dyed their skins, saying, Men expect all things of a magician, and make no query concerning the strange things they see about him. Therefore let not the men of this place be disappointed in my attendance. To Hezekiah he said, Be as one dumb, for your tongue would betray you to those who come amongst in this place. And Hezekiah answered, My tongue shall be dead in this place. In this manner they came before Isaiah. This is a mental exercise, a what-if scenario. I'm not going to argue if it is historical. I myself tend to believe that it is, but I'll leave it up to each person to decide. What I do believe is it can be a great morality tale. That is what I'm attempting to do here. There are myths, self-help books that we can all accept as wisdom or having some value even though it's not labeled as from God. I see the other religious texts like the Bible, the Quran, or the Torah as having the same value. We argue only over the claim that it came from God. To me, that clouds the real value in all the books. So if it helps, look at this as a morality tale.